Hey everybody, it's MedTech67 here from home. All right, just got home a little bit ago. The wife says that the old Canyon Arrow 2004 Excursion here had a battery light on today, and she wasn't sure if it was charging or not. She couldn't tell by looking at the battery gauge, and I told her, well, that's because those battery gauges are pretty much useless, but you should go with your gut. If it says you're not charging, you're probably not charging. So let's start down the diagnostic pathway on this. Let me show you what I got so far. I'm gonna hook that alternator back up. I've done a little bit of checking, but I thought, you know what, why not do a video? You've never done a video from home before. So we've got the old Excursion. She's got 371,000 on the clock. She's still a good running motor scooter. We'll let our glow plugs cook off for a second. Turn off the old air conditioning there. So you can see our voltage for our battery. Says it's all good. Let all the lights prove out. But we got a trouble light. If I rev it up, it doesn't go away. So let's do some checks real quick. To go any further, you need to understand what is an alternator. An alternator is a generator of sorts, but it uses alternating voltage to generate that current that you need. You see, it's not just like a regular generator where you would have permanent magnets. Anytime you spin a magnet past a coil of wires, you generate electron flow, right? Well, that's fine and all, except the difference is this truck engine goes up and down all the time, and the amount of speed that the magnets would be going past would be changing all the time. Therefore, the voltage would be changing all the time. We don't want that. We want, right around 13.7 to 14.8 volts all the time. That's what makes, lead acid batteries happy. So what we do is we change the amount of current going to the rotor's voltage. You have a stator and you have a rotor, an armature, right? And you have some brushes that commutate that flow to that rotor. And when we give more current to the rotor, the magnets get stronger. The magnets get stronger, the more pixies we get coming out of the alternator, all right? So what does an alternator need to work? Well, it needs voltage coming in. It needs exciting voltage. It needs a little bit of money to make some money. You got to have some power coming in to put some power out. Now, some wires are self-exciting. And in fact, a lot of married men are self-exciting. So the alternator is self-exciting. It uses the wire that is hooked to the battery also to create the field voltage in the armature. So those alternators are self-exciting. Now, I do not believe this Ford alternator, I think this is what it is, 6G, I think is what it is. I don't think it's self-exciting. I don't think so anyway. And this also isn't a smart alternator. The ones that change how much load that they put on the car to save gas mileage. Trust me, back when this old girl was making, they didn't care about that. So what it needs is it needs 12 volts positive coming in from the key to excite the field voltage. That goes to the internal voltage regulator. And it needs ground. So there we go. We already know a few things we need for the alternator to work, right? We need good ground on the case, right? And we need power coming in for the field wire. And then we got to get that power out, right? So we have a large gauge wire going from the alternator to the battery. So there's three things right there that we can check for integrity, all right? Do we have ground on the case? Do we have good integrity? Low voltage drop from the alternator wire to the battery, right? And then, are we getting power into the alternator so it can excite the field voltage, create a current, and therefore increase the voltage? So let's check on that real quick. So I've got my meter hooked to ground. I'm going to check, do I have voltage real quick on this wire? Now, right now I've got 12.44 volts. But it looks like we've got good connection from our output wire to the battery, so I don't have any reason to question that. So real quick, let's see. Do we have current across the case? Yes, we got current across the case. The next thing we need to check is we need to pull off this wire here. Oh, God. Where's a Marine when you need them? There we go. All right, so I'm pretty familiar with these. I'm pretty sure the orange with a light green is the charge voltage. I'll check the wiring diagram here in a sec. So we're going to check, do we have voltage on that wire real quick? It's going to be a little difficult one-handed and all that, but let's see if I can give it a try. Keys on. It's been running for a second. I believe we're checking this guy right here. I really need a T-pin, but I don't have one. All right. we've got voltage. It's low voltage, as you can see. We definitely are not charging, but the alternator is getting told to turn on. Just to verify our complaint, this wire right here. So we got a little bit of a voltage bump when I hooked it up. So that tells me that, yes, we do have good wire coming into the alternator. It sounds like the alternator is trying to generate voltage, but it can't. So I think we can go ahead and we can condemn the alternator. Now, what really sucks about living out in the boonies, as I do, is well, I'm about an hour away from the nearest parts store. Luckily, because I'm a scrounger and I've sent several ambulances with 7.3s in them to the old scrapyard in the sky, I kept all the engines out of them, because killing a 7.3 is kind of like shooting a panda in the face. They're an endangered species. You don't do it. So I've got a few extra 6Gs laying around. Now, are they any good? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Anyways, that alternator is under warranty. I just recently rebuilt the turbo on this thing, put new injector. I say recently, about 20,000 miles ago. Did a lot of work to it. Pretty sure that alternator's under warranty. It's a CarQuest alternator. It's probably why we're making this video. So I'm going to grab a known good alternator. We'll see if I can make that alternator light go out, limp mama along for a day, and get China to give me a decent alternator. Alright, pardon the kids playing around outside. I mean, don't pardon them. That's what kids are supposed to do. They're supposed to play outside, but you know, they are being loud while doing it. That's okay. That's what kids do. Why is it so different to actually just work in the shop? Other way, dingus. There we go. That belt unhooked. Alright, so now we just need to unhook that. And don't do that. Real talk real quick. Technically, by the book, you're supposed to unhook the batteries. I skipped a step, and as you can see, little sparky spark. Now, I could have blown a computer. I could have, I don't know, not real likely. Definitely could have blown a fusible link. Could have caused some damage in the turbo pipe. Yes, that's stupid. Shouldn't do that. Don't be like me. I was making a shortcut, and I take responsibility for my own stupidity. If you're doing this, unhook that negative battery cable. And make sure you didn't just blow a fusible link. Oh, we're good. We're totally good. Yeah, let me get something less shocking. See if I can clear it. I really don't want to unhook my batteries. All right. Just be careful of this, because this is a live wire now. All right. That's unhooked. Go on, go help Bubba and Sissy. Just gonna stuff you right there. Alright. Now we can get this alternator out of the way. I think I found the problem. Do you see it? Yep. Alright, well, I mean, she looks worse for wear, doesn't she? But if it gets me by for a day, it gets me by for a day. And I can make a trip to get me a replacement alternator. I gotta sound more motivational than this. If this part that I've been hanging on to this whole time actually ends up being worth a damn for me and helping, this is why we play the game, people. This is why we play the game. Otherwise, I've just been storing junk and yeah. All right. Another round of operation. pretty sure that, I don't know if it's clicking or not. We just take a few minutes and memorialize the day that, well, the days that Ford used to do things simple, like putting the AC compressor and the alternator right up in the front where everybody can get to it, and it takes 10 minutes to change an alternator. This right here is why she's still in the old family fleet. Now, I'm in a hurry, as you can tell, but still make sure that your belt is on right and not missing a few ribs, because it will turn it to ribbons real fast. Okay, well, it's hooked up. Let's see if this alternator, it's been sitting on the shelf, well, shelf, you can call it a shelf, for like the last 5 years, and probably in the rain too, still works. It's alive! Alright, do we have charge voltage? Currently, it's going up. We're coming up on 13 volts. I mean, this thing ran for quite a while with no charging, so give it a little bit. We're obviously charging. Let's see what we're making at the alternator. Making 13.7 at the alternator. Now right there is why you don't trust the gauge. You can barely tell the difference of charging and not charging. That's 2 volts right there, the difference, and you can't even tell. And our light's gone out, so obviously the alternator thinks it's doing okay. Well, there you have it, folks. It's plain and simple. You know, test it out, or you can just throw a part at it. I did both, and luckily my crappy alternator that's been sitting over there in the corner for a hot minute still works. That's how you check out to see if the charging system's working on one of these old Fords. The newer ones, they get different. You have to look at the theory of operation nowadays, because it's all different. They all have smart charging systems, and you know, it's another whole bag of cats besides this. But hope this helped today. Hope this helped get you in a diagnostic mindset. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.